Hello, my name is Brad Chad Porter. I'm the general manager at Rodeo Cinema. I want to talk to you for a few seconds about the Rodeo Cinema Foundation membership program. Rodeo Cinema is Oklahoma City's only nonprofit movie house. We depend on your support beyond your tickets and concessions purchases to keep the lights on and to continue bringing you outstanding film programming. We ask you to consider becoming a member. There are several memberships to choose from, with prices ranging from $50 per year to $5,000 per year. Check out your options at rodeocinema.org/memberships. Thank you in advance for your support.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love you've never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
You like
Happy Tuesday, moviegoers. Welcome to Love Lies Bleeding. Welcome to episode 312, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan. I'm joined by the other host, Ed.
What's up, folks? How's it going?
What up? How's your week been, man?
It's been good. Baseball, work, yeah.
Baseball, work, movies.
Yes, movies.
Football.
Not yet, but I've been paying attention, yes.
If you guys want to hear some football talk, go back and listen to the latest episode of Sports Breakers. Yesterday, me and Gregory predicted most of the week one matchups and games for this week's college football kickoff. You can listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts.
What was your Texas and OU prediction of their first week one?
Week one. Go back and listen to the episode.
Oh, not even a teaser.
We just a tip. Okay, fine. Week one, we both have OU and Texas big. So I think Craig put like OU 60-something 14. He did the same thing with Texas. So they're both Cape Cut weeks. So
that tune-up game gets in.
Hopefully they're tune-up games. But yeah, go check that episode out. Episode 21 already of Sports Breakers podcast. But this week we are talking and finishing up A24 month here in the month of August. Next week it's already September. And Ed, you know what that means? September is anniversary month for us here at the podcast. We will be celebrating year number 6.
Nice.
Yeah. So it should be fun. We will be celebrating that anniversary this year in the third week of September when we review Furiosa.
Mad Max story.
Later on this month. That'll be September the 17th. So celebrating a week later than normal, but hey, this week we finish off A24 month. Though, if you guys want to listen to last week's episode, me and Edward had a fun conversation about the man of your dreams, Nicolas Cage, when we talked dream scenario. That was last week. a little fun conversation. You guys can find the links to that episode on all of our social media pages. Ed, how do they get to the social media pages?
Pretty easy, as you see on your screen, or as you may not see on your screen if you're only listening. That is facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. If you found us, you know how to spell it. If you don't know how to spell it, here it goes: THECINEMEN MOVIEPODCAST. The Instagram is Instagram/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast as well. And the X is Cine-Men405. Now you can also email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. Feed us thoughts, feed us your understandings, feed us your not understandings. Why are we doing the movies we're doing? What we could be doing, what you would want us to do, what you love. Let us know.
And if you have any recommendations or recent watches that you want us to review or maybe for us to talk about, hit us up. Make the subject matter recommendations or recent watches in the emails. So not only have I been not reading emails, I have slowly finally started to emailing everybody back. I think it's time for the anniversary show. I think I'm going to whip out a giant sack of emails. So all the comments you guys have been sending, all your star reviews, recommendations, everything you guys have been emailing me for the past few months, we're going to just unload it all on the anniversary show when we talk Furiosa. So fit in as much as you can, squeeze in as much as you can, and we will empty a girthy email bag Tuesday, September 17th, when we talk Furiosa. So, but right now, Ed, do you have anything you want to recommend, or what have you been watching recently?
Not too much, to be honest. Love Lies Bleeding, gone ahead and watched Ender's Game. Not too shabby.
I haven't seen that in a while.
I know. I actually had never seen it. That was first time watch, as well as for some weird reason, I went back and watched the Divergent series. I can see why it bombed. The third one, Allegiant, bombed in the box office. The first and second one were pretty good, but I can see why the third one just tore itself apart. So,
man,
yeah.
Speaking of bombed at the theater, this week I went out and checked out The Crow.
Oh God,
the 2024 version. It hit theaters on Friday.
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, he was a kind of a weak ass crow, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I love him as an actor, and I thought he did. I think he did the only job he knew how to do. The last 20 minutes of The Crow, insane. If you can make it through an hour and 30 minutes, the last 20 minutes is pretty decent. But man, it was bad. It was bad, and it bombed. The 15th anniversary of Coraline made more money than The Crow this year.
Okay, so you say a weak ass crow.
Man,
do you mean physically? I
shouldn't put it that way. I'm talking emotionally.
Okay.
But we come from a generation where we saw a pretty hardcore crow. This man, I don't want to put it this way.
No.
But he's an updated 2024 crow. He's an updated 2024 character. He's I don't want to spoil anything without getting into spoiler territory.
Well,
I think we're going to review it when it hits Blu-ray, probably, because the way it's going at the box office, it'll be on Blu-ray probably in the next three minutes. I think it only made $2 million.
This week on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast,
it only made $2 million.
Whoa!
Yes, it's a $50 million budget movie, and opening weekend it made $2 million.
No way.
Yes, Coraline, like I said, Coraline grossed more with $5 million. It completely bombed.
Making only $2 million is unheard of anymore.
Yeah.
Especially for like an A-list actor.
It was pretty bad, man. It bombed really, really hard. Um,
Wow.
I mean, I still got to see it on the biggest screen possible. I thought it was pretty cool. That was Friday, so right now it stands at 9 million.
I mean, better, but
Yeah,
not that great.
that was Tuesday or Friday when I went. It was at 2 million, but right now it's at 9 million. Still on a $50 million budget. I don't think it's going to make its budget back.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, I finished my Mad Max sit down franchise review. The only thing I have left to watch is Furiosa, which I'm excited to. I'll watch it probably before the episode. I was in a little Hugh Jackman, like it was like a comatose Hugh Jackman. I just wanted to watch anything Hugh Jackman after Deadpool, so I checked out The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
Just because it was something I hadn't seen in a while. Man, I loved it. The music is fantastic. I checked out Knock at the Cabin for the latest episode of Friday the 14th podcast. I
There you
didn't
go.
I didn't see Coraline 15th anniversary in theaters, but I went ahead and rewatched that. And then today's episode, Love Lies Bleeding. If I had to recommend anything, man, you know what? Check out Love Lies Bleeding. Honestly, it's on Max. It's what we're talking about today. If you want to spend money on The Crow, go check it out. Send us in some of your feedback. Like I said, it's probably going to be an episode, I would say, in maybe October, November. I do think it would be a good, diverse conversation, especially if we get Jay on the podcast. We know he's like a super huge Crow fan.
Yeah.
So, and so are you. And you love The Crow. You love Bill Skarsgård. So,
Yeah.
I just think I don't think that character needed to be updated the way it was updated. So,
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Let's dig into today's movie. I'm kind of excited to talk about this one. This one is one of the most highest rated A24 movies of the year. I did not think it was going to be. But we can dig into it, dissect it a little bit, and talk all about Love Lies Bleeding. Currently on IMDb, it stands at a 6.7, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Metascore is 77. The Letterboxd has it at a 3.6. With a $4 million budget, it grossed a little over $12.5 million at the box office. Gym manager Lou falls for Jackie, a bodybuilder who is passing through town en route to a competition in Las Vegas, starring Kristen Stewart, Dave Franco, Katie O'Brien, Jenna Malone, Ed Harris, and written and directed by Rose Glass. Let's dig into it. Again, heavy spoiler territory. This movie did come out this year with a release date of March 8th, 2024. If you haven't seen it and you don't want to get spoiled, we're at 13 minutes and 35 seconds into the episode. Pause it, go check it out on Max, come back, or listen to it, and maybe it'll get you to want to watch it even more.
Eventually.
Yeah. Ed, this was your first time watch. This was probably like maybe my third time watch. I heard a lot of good things about this before it came out.
Okay.
I did not wait for it to hit Max. And being an A24 pig that I am, I didn't want to wait for it to hit Max. It did not get a physical media release other than if you bought it on the A24 store. So you had to buy it on the A24 website in order to get the physical media release. It's a pretty cool box, pretty cool little gadget. So go check it out. First time watch. As soon as it was over, I probably would just say, I don't know. Let's say, man, I don't. What about you? You think of the word. Do you have a first word as soon as it was over? I would probably say impressed because I thought it was going to be shit.
All over the place.
That too.
All over the place.
You get introduced to Lou, who I have to say, played by Kristen Stewart.
Uh-huh.
I thought she was absolute garbage in Twilight, and for some reason, she kind of gets a little bit better in every feature film she does. In this movie, I thought she was okay. There's some scenes in this movie where she's really, really good, and then there's some scenes where she's kind of like, why? Maybe like she still has that gutter little teen spirit act like she did in Twilight. So I'm kind of 50-50 on Kristen Stewart and Lou in this movie.
See, that's the thing. My wife even mentioned that too, because she was a huge fan of Twilight, and she, obviously watched every movie. We went to see a few of them in theaters and stuff like that back then, and she was saying that she watched it with me, funny enough, but she was saying that throughout the film that it reminded her a lot of her
Yeah.
Days in Twilight, but just different look.
Yeah, and we'll touch on those. To me, there's probably 3 scenes where I was like, "That's Bella." I can't get that out of my
Mhm.
head.
Yep. She said particularly one scene for that matter.
I'll be interested to see if it's the same scene. And then you get introduced to Jackie, who was played by Katie O'Brien, who is actually a real life stunt coordinator, stunt actress, and bodybuilder. And you know what? For a stunt actor or actress, I thought Katie O'Brien in this movie, who plays Jackie, I thought she stole the movie. Somebody who's not a full time actor like Kristen Stewart, anytime you saw Jackie on screen, I thought she tore it up physically and emotionally.
She did. I mean, honestly, she was good. She played the emotional roles very, very well.
Man.
Was she Domino in Deadpool too?
I don't think so. That's a good question.
I
Her biggest movies was she played Danny in Twisters.
No, that's it.
Yeah, she
I
was
was like,
not. Yeah, I don't think she was in Deadpool. But she did her role very, very well. I didn't like the way you got introduced to Jackie in the car with Dave Franco, who I thought Dave Franco as JJ was phenomenal. Dave Franco to me is somebody who gets overlooked almost in everything he does. And in this movie, I thought he played his character well. I really wanted to hate that conniving, cheating weasel who just he beat up on his wife almost every chance he got. So I thought he played his character to a T. I thought Ed Harris, who played the dad, was tremendous. To me, a really strong core of cast members. There's not that many who are needed. I also didn't mention Anna um, Baryshnikov, who plays Daisy in the movie.
Brishnikov.
There you go, Gesundheit. So I didn't mention her.
Dude,
I got to ask you this though, and I was
okay.
I was battling with it the entire week leading up to the movie. Yes, I have no life, so I've been thinking about this movie for a week. That's what good podcasters do, right? So I was like, what is the MacGuffin in this movie? I was sitting there thinking about it the entire week. Is it the steroids? Is it the Vegas trip? Is it the sister itself? Um, I was sitting there battling it through the entire week. I wanted to ask your thoughts. Those are my top 3 that I think are the MacGuffin.
So I want to speak on something else a little different right before I go to that. I thought she could do Amanda, like her and Amanda Seyfried, however you say her name. I thought she looked like a younger Amanda Seyfried.
I could see that.
Dude, if you put her in Mean Girls in Amanda Seyfried's position, I would have been like, okay, acceptable. Anyways, so what were your three takes on the MacGuffin?
I picked it's got to be either the steroids, the Vegas competition, or the sister, because technically a MacGuffin can be an item or an object, a person that the movie plot is driven around.
I would say the sister, because the sister is throughout all of it, or at least 80% of it or more.
Also, if it wasn't for the sister, somebody wouldn't have got beat on. So Dave Franco wouldn't have been in that position he was in.
Yep, wouldn't have gotten killed.
The only reason Lou stays in town is for the sister.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, we're jumping ahead, but the only reason she leaves is because the sister calls her worthless, and they have that fight at the end.
Yep. And I mean, she even runs while she's running off is like, I love you.
Yeah. And I guess while we're on the topic, I can talk about why I thought it was the steroids as well. And I can
see it.
I thought it was the steroids because Jackie, her entire plot-driven storyline starts when she gets that needle in the ass. The moment she gets that needle in her, you can start to the whole metaphor of the movie is you can start to see her veins pop. And to me, it's just a metaphor. It's obviously a CGI-driven thing. But the moment she starts getting void rage, she snaps and she kills JJ. She completely roids out at the competition. Mm-hmm. She completely loses it, and she kind of overdoses when she leaves and goes to Vegas. So that's why I thought it was the roids at first, because I'm like, none of this might have even happened if she wasn't on them. But at the beginning of the movie, she does show that she has a short temper without him when she punches that guy that was telling her about Lou being a dyke.
Well, I think that more was the thing of you don't need to be touching me. Kind of thing, because right before that happened, he grabbed her and was like telling her about her, grabbed her, and then, hey, let's go or whatever have you. Got punched, and then he punches her back. I can see what you see for all three, but personally, I do think it is the sister, just because a lot of her story is plot driving.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily plot driven, but it is the driving force of the plot. At least that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And you start getting mixed in with the FBI agent. You meet the FBI agent way early in the movie, and it kind of leads you to believe, hey, what's going on? What is her dad really a part of? And how big is her dad? Because
well, with somebody like Ed Harris, and what roles, if you have been paying attention to him, that he's usually cast in,
tremendous actor.
Oh no, 100%, yeah. They're just sleazeballs or big time villains. It's one of the two. Ed Harris is always that. He does a fantastic job at it. But this one, you could feel just grease dripping off of him. That bald in the front, long hair in the back. Just, you felt dirty with him.
It's funny too, because they weren't going to go with the extensions, but I guess Kristen Stewart saw that and she was like, "He looks just like my dad with the extensions. Can we keep him in?"
Damn.
Yeah.
But then you go to like,
and this, to me, this movie is jam-packed in the first 35 minutes. In the first 38-ish minutes, you get introduced to Lou, Jackie, the dad, JJ, the sister. You find out that he's an arms dealer and he's got this illegal business going on. You find out and you get some hardcore. You don't have to talk about it or touch on it if you want to, but you get some hardcore bonding scenes with Jackie and Lou. And then you get the complete beatdown and facial hospitalization of the sister. And then you get the death of JJ, all in the first 38 minutes.
Well, and remember that not only that, but JJ and Jackie hooked up in the beginning of the film too.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier. I was like, I wish you got introduced to Jackie in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the scene where you get introduced to Jackie and JJ all at once.
So, you got this cheating POS. You've got this guy who's straight up a killer on another side. And then you've got the sister who just is in a bad spot, man. And I mean, you feel bad as hell for her. You're like, why don't you leave? Why don't you say something? Why don't you go? But then there's all these compounding issues.
And you're talking about Beth, right?
Yes. There's all these compounding issues, and it's like, damn, man, like it's a complicated story. It's got a lot of layers to it.
It kind of reminds me
of Shrek.
No,
I'm just kidding.
It kind of reminds me of a Quentin Tarantino off version. It kind of reminds me of Jackie Brown. I can't remember if you've seen that movie with Pamela Greer and Samuel Jackson. But there's death. There's there's illegal arms dealing. There's the cover up of the deaths, so much, and like you said, there's so many layers, and it's just an hour and 40-minute movie.
Mm-hmm. You go through and you get the body, the gym, scenes quite frequently. Obviously works on physique and all that. You get the passionate scenes frequently.
I like how we both I describe them as bonding. You're like the passionate scenes.
Honestly, it kind of makes you feel like one of those HBO sex things.
I was going to ask you, was it too much?
Strange. Yes, I think so. It was
too much?
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I get having fun, I get the whole, but you didn't need the whole show me how you fuck yourself, kind of thing. Like you didn't need all that shit.
I feel like we didn't need let me stretch you scene.
That too, the stretch thing was just like the fuck. I don't know if it was just like trying to enhance the bond or something like that, but you already had the bond of that. You already had the passion scenes.
I think you could have had that very first one after she stuck her with the needle.
Maybe even a second.
And then they have breakfast after that. Mm-hmm. And okay, so there's three total, I think, three big ones. There's the scene where they have breakfast after. There's the one where she's like, "Let me stretch you," and then I think that's the third. That's the final one. The one in the middle is where the music is going on, and it's like a montage.
Yeah.
So I think you could have the two. The one I don't think was needed was probably the "Let me stretch you" scene.
Yeah, I mean that. I get it, wanting to try stuff and all that, but at the same time, like that could be held for real life or private, personal kind of thing, So there's that. A lot of movies are coming out and having small connections to Oklahoma this year.
Yeah. What was the connection in this one?
Jackie was from Oklahoma.
Yep.
So I was just like, what the fuck? Kind of a funny little catch.
It was kind of also played in as like, oh, they don't like bodybuilding. I don't want to use the word, but they don't like bodybuilding dykes like in that movie, like in that town. because that's what Kristen Stewart called her when she was like, "Oh, you're running away from Oklahoma because of that."
Right.
So
I mean, maybe at the time in the 80s, it was kind of a looked down upon thing because you know are into the same sex, and on top of that, you are a female who's a bodybuilder. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That was before our time by just a bit.
how about
Um,
the scene where they're at the restaurant when you get introduced, really, and you see how JJ is really like aggressive, and he's like, "Oh, don't wipe me there," and then he goes to the bathroom, and Lou follows, and that's where Lou finds out that JJ did to Jackie what he did. I think that whole fight was out of line on Lou, and I think that's one of the scenes where she reminded me of Bella in Twilight. The other scene was where she found out that Beth got beat up on and was in the hospital, and she threw the keys. That's the scene where I was like, "That's Bella."
I would also say the kitchen scene
Where she's cleaning.
where she's cooking.
Oh yeah,
Some of the looks and some of the facial features and stuff like that. Because don't get me wrong, the memes all prove it. So do the the videos, and so do the gifs and all that. The facial features are there, the facial expressions are there, and she still does it to this day.
yeah.
You know,
I will
I
say
mean,
you can't compare the three from Twilight because Robert Pattinson, a decade later, is head and shoulders above everybody else.
mhm.
But I think Kristen Stewart, there's some movies that she's in where she is just outstanding. Um, One of the movies being A Personal Shopper, which if you guys have not checked that out, I highly recommend it. And then the other movie, um, Spencer, where she plays Diana, um, Diana Spencer, who turns out to be, you know, uh, the Diana, what's her name? Uh, Princess Diana.
Oh, okay.
So those are the two movies that she really shines bright in. And this movie, she shines, but she just some of those old school laziness expressions that she had in Twilight to me kind of pop out in this movie. Not saying she didn't do good. I think she did phenomenal, but I think it could have been a little bit. She wasn't well protected in this movie. The other scene is maybe the other scene where I kind of felt corny with her in is where she was laying down at the end, and the dad was standing over her, and she was like, "What happened to mom, huh?" That scene.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we didn't talk on the mom. We haven't touched bases with the mom yet. What did you think? Did you think that she really thought her mom had just ran away, or from the get go were you like, "Nah, the mom's dead"?
I would say from the get go, the mom's dead, just because she knew what life her father was in. She knew what line of work her father was in. She knew how to connect him to several different things. She knew how to fuck him over. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. He made his worst enemy in a couple senses. Um, you don't your parents, okay? Especially if you've been raised around them, one or the other or both. You know your parents. You know their mannerisms. You know how they talk, how they walk, how they do, how they don't. You know all that stuff. You know. Um, in this, she knew exactly who her father was. She knew exactly because don't get me wrong. Not only did she know who her father was, but she also knew how he done things.
Yeah.
Because at both murders, she didn't freak out. She didn't call the cops or anything like that. She gone right to cleaning. Literally in the second one. In the first one, she went over to start cleaning, but in the second one
Daisy.
with Daisy, she literally didn't do anything else but grab a sponge and start cleaning
So
because she knew it's only a matter of time.
let's talk about the two death scenes when Jackie goes to Beth's house and JJ's house. and she, he kind of senses that somebody's there, and she just busts out and she rages. She bangs his head against the table. She kills him. You see the jaw. What did you think of that scene?
Bro, honestly, I'll tell you, visually, that was the best thing of the entire film. Don't care.
It was.
That was.
It was kind of like that jaw dropping. Like, what the heck just happened?
Because it was grotesque. It was gory, and it was just.
It was shock. You knew he was going to get hurt, but you were like, oh my gosh, she kills him.
Not only that, but quick and in a hurry, and by that way, like, she half curb stomped him, literally.
Do you think this movie, and all this is just pure made up story by Rose Glass, not based on any true stories or anything like that? First off, I got to applaud too, because where have the original ideas been lately? Do you think that there was some kind of hidden message about roid rage and steroid abuse in this movie?
Yes.
Or do you think that was just a coincidence with her being a bodybuilder?
I think it wasn't just a coincidence. I think it was implied. Because, back in the 80s, there wasn't as much knowledge about it. There wasn't as much understanding that it can have significant effects on your brain.
Yep.
So there's that, as well as on your body. I mean, honestly.
It just, throughout the movie, it just almost transformed her almost like into a rabid Wolverine.
A bull that sees red, essentially, all the time.
It's almost like she had the crippler crossface on everybody.
God damn it. I think it was a good story. There were times to where it was too all over the place, too much for that matter. So I do think that took away from some of the story, personally.
I think if you take down maybe
the sexual interactions.
Yeah, which I think that could, if you turn this down to an hour and 35-minute movie, it did a lot for me. I'm not going to lie, but I think it would have been probably superb on another level.
Additionally, if you take away the attack of the 50-foot woman.
Now, hold on. I like that, though, and we'll get to it a little bit later.
I didn't mind it so much, but yeah, we will.
If you get into, man, I would even say, because I like the scene where she goes to the competition. She completely is drugged out when she gets in that van to hitchhike to Vegas. You don't know what those guys did to her on the way there, right?
I mean, you don't, to be fully fair.
And then when she gets to the competition, she's still so, turned up, if you want to use those words, that when she's on stage, she vomits. But in her mind, she's so wrapped around Kristen Stewart and Lou. What did you think of the scene where she gets sick, but in her mind she vomits out Lou?
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. I mean, I've never taken steroids. I've never taken, anything like that can be that detrimental. But
it doesn't specify either. Was she just overdosed on steroids when she did that?
And that's the thing right there, is just like you said, you don't know what the people in the van did to her. If they did anything to her at all, you don't know what happened there.
Because I mean, steroid is still a drug. You can OD on it. You can have too much of it, and who knows what that feeling is like. But I almost thought when she threw up Kristen Stewart, I thought that was her telling herself, "You need to just spit her out and let go."
Yeah, because
or at least try to.
Because at the apartment when she came back for the first time and they seen each other for the first time again, she was ready to go. She was ready to just dust off and go. I mean, it wouldn't have been as easy as the first, but she was ready to just dust her out.
That was a how about the scene where she threw up and people started laughing at her, and she went and just started punching one of the other
Beating the hell.
contestants?
She
That
beat the hell out of her.
Yeah, that's another scene where the roid rage probably took over, and she got landed in jail. And what do you think? She called Lou's house, and
Yeah.
Daisy answered, and man, that set her off again.
And then you got to think, like, how in the hell did Lou's father know that Jackie was in jail, and where she was too?
Well, I think she might have gotten 2 calls. So I'm wanting to say, if Daisy said that, or Jackie could have been like, "Hey, the call didn't go through. Let me make another phone call." And I bet she called the dad, and she was like, "Hey, if you come get me, this whole thing can be blamed on Lou, and I'll help you get Lou where you need to go."
Because I mean, additionally, connections with the police are there. So I mean, I don't know. But then it was the 80s.
Yeah, I liked how Lou did what she did to the car when they got rid of JJ's body, because she was like, "Hey, the smoke will call the cops. The cops will not only find that, but they'll find other stuff down there that'll tie them to my dad."
And I mean, that's the thing. She knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't. The dad thought she was just a dumbass kid that, didn't do shit and didn't do it right at all and all that. But in reality, it's like, I'm connecting you, dumbass.
Yeah. And she did it well. What do you, and he's not dumb either. He ended up having the cop that was on his budget actually try to kill his own daughter.
Literally.
Yeah.
That was insane right there. Because within a day, if that, 2 different people connected to your father now try and kill you. Like, that was insane.
What did you think of the diner scene where Daisy was like, "I saw that beefy chick drive JJ's car"? Did you think she was going to turn him in, or what?
I think she was going to turn her in, but yeah, because jealousy leads some people to do stupid things, as well as I've gotten it, so I want to get you out of the picture all the way around. And that's kind of the thing that was thought about in this instance. So
what if she already contacted the FBI? Because literally, as soon as she died, and that scene where her head gets exploded on Lou, I was like, whoa, what the?
Because see, I was just like, what the hell just happened? But yeah.
What if she already contacted the police? Because as soon as she died, like 20, 30 minutes later, the FBI knocks on Lou's door, and she's having to hurry up and put her behind the couch.
Who's to say she didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, like, I don't know.
Yeah, Daisy's death came out of left field for me. I did not expect Daisy to. I thought Daisy was going to die, but I didn't think it was going to be like that.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I didn't know it was going to be that quick and by Jackie.
I think another scene that was just off the wall crazy was when Lou tells the dad off and he just snaps and he takes a bite of the bug.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Ecstasy was probably going around or something. I don't know. Let's talk about the metaphoric ending. After a few watches, it kind of sets in on me like that makes a little bit more sense. The scene where she, like you said, 50-foot woman, and if you notice throughout the entire movie, when she gets angry, she just pops. She has more veins that just get bigger and bigger.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah. That's why Kristen Stewart's name was Lou. No.
Ferrigno?
Yeah.
That's why Jackie was a bodybuilder?
Yeah. So what would you think, like, I feel like everything has just been leading up to a big payoff. The dad had Kristen Stewart on the ground. He was probably going to honestly do away with her, and then Jackie sees it and hears Lou getting beat up on, and that just makes her. She gets the ultimate snappage, like she snaps into a Slim Jim, and she like metaphorically she feels like she's 50 foot tall, but she's finally had enough. The steroids they're probably at max rage inside of her right now. She's killed people, and she just completely puts the dad on his ass. And Kristen Stewart just stands over him, has the chance to kill him, but she's like, you know what? No, I can hear the cops. They're coming for you. You're taking this fall. And I feel like, Lou, still being high on the steroids, just feels like she's 50 foot tall, and they've technically won. I think that's why I think that's why you see them as 50 foot like women at the end. I don't know. That's when I thought of it after a few times. What do you think?
I can understand that. I can see that. I mean, the euphoric adrenaline high and all that of, winning a battle in your entire life like that. I can see that. So, okay.
I don't know. And then you have the Thelma and Louise like ending where they kind of ride off into the sunset. Thelma and Louise didn't ride off in the sunset, but they kind of had this, mediocre rise, and they dumped the final body.
Well, they killed the final body, and then they dumped her.
Oh yeah, she was still technically
Daisy was not dead.
Yeah,
fully.
What do you think? They, ride off into the sunset. Did you like the ending? Would you kind of went a different route, or did you like to see that? You know what? Maybe after all the hell they've endured, they deserve this send off.
This ending I thought was a hell of a lot better than
Dream Scenario.
Yeah, or a few different movies, but yeah, I will agree. It's a lot. I think it's a lot better than that. It ended all the loose ends.
There you go. It tied off all the loose ends. Yep. I could definitely agree with that. Favorite scene? Man, to me there's quite a bit. Like I said, I would probably cut 2 scenes down, and instead of it being an hour and 40 something minutes, I think you could cut maybe 2 or 3 scenes and make it an hour and 35 minutes. I'm gonna say my favorite scene would be JJ's death, them getting rid of the body, and the contest where she snaps again and beats up one of the other contestants. What about you?
I would have to say my favorite scene would probably be the stretch me out scene. I'm just kidding.
It was unique, and you might have learned some stuff.
First off, no, I gotta say the death scene of JJ, that was, like I said, easily best visuals in the entire film, easily. Honestly, when Ed Harris was on screen, like, it was just, like I said, greasy, just grease dripping off of him, and it not in a good way either. So, like, I thought he stole most of the show personally.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the best light, but definitely I thought the best actor there,
Another scene that we didn't touch on, but the scene where she's cleaning up JJ's house, and the dad and the other two guards walk in, and she hides in the closet. You talk about.
I think he saw her.
I do too.
When they first walk in and he's just standing there looking, and then he goes off to the bird. I think, because don't get me wrong, like, what would it have been so out of character for her to be there? if she didn't know about the death.
Well, if you also know, he put two and two together. The birdcage was super dirty, but the counter was spotless.
Yep.
He was touching the counter, and he's like, "Ain't no way these two clean like this." He knew they were dirty people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star rating, man, for Love Lies Bleeding. I'm gonna give this a 4. I think if maybe 2 scenes get cut, I still had no issue with the pacing. I thought the weird '80s score was good too. Great cinematography shots. Just one really hardcore love scene to me was just a little over the top. This is a 4 for me. I've watched this now 4 times, and it just flies by. It's intense. It's bloody. It's a hell of a good time. And like you said, it ties in all the loose ends at the end of the movie. So 4 stars for me.
I'm going to have to go 3.5. A lot of the same things, honestly. I think the scene with Jackie and JJ, I think the original scene before the breakfast scene with Jackie and Lou, and then the other scene with Lou and Jackie are just fine. Past that, I don't think it was needed, any of it. Maybe where Daisy walks around naked, I can see that one as well, just because
it shows you that they did something.
It alludes more to the fact, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that, but other than that, yeah, yeah, that, but just kind of being all over the place a little bit here and there was kind of the turn off for me a little bit. It was a good movie, but it was just those things were turn offs to me.
And so, 3.5 isn't terrible. So
no,
we can we can agree to disagree that it's at least probably a good movie to view once.
At least, yeah.
So if you guys enjoy Love Lies Bleeding, let us know in the emails. We're just 3 weeks away from the anniversary show. We will whip out the email bag and discuss the emails. So send them in. Whether you want to talk about Deadpool, Twisters, A24 month, September slate. Next week, the day after Labor Day, what better way to celebrate labor than talking about Clerks 2? Because you know what? They work hard at movies, right?
They're the Click Commanders.
Yeah. So we're talking Clerks 2 the day after Labor Day. In 2 weeks, September the 10th, we're talking Beetlejuice. September the 17th is the anniversary show. We're talking Furiosa. And then we end September with Nicolas Cage and Longlegs. September the 24th, we head into spooky season with Longlegs. So, going to be a fun month. Going to be a fun September. Monday after Labor Day, or the Tuesday after Labor Day, I can't wait to talk Clerks 2 with you next Tuesday, man.
Clock in with Clerks 2. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Star Wars and Lord of the Rings debate will be here next week. So yeah, man, I'm excited. What a month of August. What an A24 month. I think this is the 3rd or 4th one we've done. Great conversation today, man. I appreciate everything you've done. Hell of an episode. Go check out Love Lies Bleeding. Ed, man, do you have anything else you want to mention about today's episode or A24 month before we head into September already?
A24 month is usually a unique series of segments we kind of do. I know it's episodes, not segments, but it's kind of a segment in its own self.
Cool. I like it.
So it kind of opens the mind up to different things. There's been a lot of films that I never would have even thought about watching. To be honest, some I don't like, some I'm all right with, some I do end up liking. Yeah, so always keep an open mind. Go and get your view on something. Go and get what you like, what you dislike on something. Never let somebody else tell you exactly what they are going to say you should believe in, because at the end of the day, it's your opinion. Everybody's got one, and not all of them smell great.
That's true. Man, I couldn't have said it better. It's always a fun, diverse month when we talk A24. You're going to love it, you're going to hate it, or you know what, you might just be okay with it. It might just be fine, like Zach says.
I guess.
Yeah. But join us next Monday or next Tuesday. It'll be the Tuesday after Labor Day. Hope everybody has a fun, safe Labor Day weekend. A lot of football on tap, a lot of movies on tap. Enjoy, and we'll see you next Tuesday for Clerks 2. Again, Love Lies Bleeding, hell of a conversation. Go check it out right now on HBO Max. We'll see you next week on another new episode of the Cine-Men Movie